So much for coming to Universal Brotherhood Day 2024 celebration today. We'll start the event at sharp at 4 p.m. Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think the registrations are still going on. I'll just confirm when we can start. Thank you. We are waiting for the arrival of one of the guests who has got slightly delayed. So I'll just request your patience, please. Thank you everyone for being such a patient audience. It's all Mumbai traffic woes, can't be avoided. I'm sure all of you know that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the Universal Brotherhood Day 2024, an event that celebrates the theme of bonding through unity in diversity. My name is Chaya Mishra, part of the organizing committee for this event, and I will be your host for today evening. And I'm really glad to be back to the university that I belong, from where I graduated and post-graduated both. We are honored to have such a diverse and distinguished group of individuals with us here today, all united by a shared passion for universal brotherhood. I'm sure that each of you will have a lot of insights to take away after listening to our outstanding speakers, who are all eminent personalities in their respective fields. As we progress through today's agenda, I would encourage each of you in the audience to take full advantage of this unique opportunity to connect with one another, as this is a perfect forum for collaboration. So without any further delay, I would like to kickstart this wonderful event by welcoming our distinguished guests onto the stage. I begin with inviting our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Dhyaneshwar Muleji, onto the stage, please. Dr. Muleji is a former ambassador, Secretary, Foreign Affairs, and member, National Human Rights Commission. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite our special guest for the day, the Consul General of the Republic of Singapore, Mr. Chong Ming Foong, onto the stage. Welcome, sir. Next, requesting our next special guest for the day, the Consul General of Malaysia, Mr. Ahmad Zuwairi Yusuf, to please come on to the stage. Welcome, sir. I will now be requesting the President invitee for the day, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai, Professor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni ji, on to the stage, please. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite the President of the Indian Chamber of International Business, Shri Manpreet Singh Nagi ji, onto the stage. Welcome, sir. And finally, I would like to invite our very own Shri Narasimhan ji, one of the senior most veterans of Vishwadhyayan Kendra, to join all the others on the stage. Welcome, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in extending a warm round of applause to all our esteemed guests together. Thank you so much. We are truly honored to have them with us, and we look forward to their inspiring words and insights. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Before starting the program, I regretfully have to inform here that our chief guest, the Honorable Governor of Maharashtra, Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan ji, will not be able to make it to today's event because of the election model code of conduct that is now applicable. But he has conveyed his best wishes to all of us for a great and successful event. So now we'll kickstart the program in line with our Indian traditions. We would like to start the program by invoking the divine blessings through the Deep Prajwalan and subsequent recital of the Saraswati Vandana. The Deep Prajwalan, for the benefit of people who might not be aware of it, refers to the lighting of the ceremonial lamp, which is there on the stage, which signifies mental illumination, opening one's mind to knowledge, wisdom, and clarity. I would request all of the guests to come forward for lighting the lamp, please. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we have just received a message from the Honorable Governor, Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan ji. I would want to just communicate that verbatim. I am pleased to know that the Vishwadhyayan Kendra Mumbai has organized the Universal Brotherhood Day 2024 on 18th October. VAK's significant work over the past 2 decades on international matters with its focus on assessing and analyzing global developments is indeed commendable. It is heartening to see how VAK continues to contribute towards shaping opinions and preparing insightful reports that help strengthen our understanding of international affairs. Neighbors play a pivotal role in any nation's foreign policy, and fostering strong relationships with them requires a keen understanding of their developments, aspirations, and expectations. VAK's emphasis on this aspect resonates deeply with the essence of building harmonious relations. I am glad to note that senior diplomats, academicians, and consuls of various countries are attending the event. Due to unforeseen commitments, I am unable to attend the event in person. However, I congratulate the Vishwadhyayan Kendra for its commendable initiative and convey my best wishes for the success of the Universal Brotherhood Day 2024, signed C.P. Radhakrishnan ji. So even though he's not been able to attend, it's almost as if he's attended. Okay, so let me now begin the program. Oh, excuse me. The Saraswati Vandana, my apologies. I would request Ms. Medha Deshpande, Dr. Medha Deshpande, to please begin with the recital of the Saraswati Vandana. Saraswati Vandana is generally done for the benefit of people again who are not aware at the beginning of any event to invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the deity symbolizing knowledge and wisdom in Indian tradition. So, Dr. Medha, please.
धन्यवादाः. श्रीमच्छङ्कर देशिकेन्द्र भगवत् सम्पूजितामुत्तमा लक्ष्म्यादित्रितयान्वितां सुखमयीं श्रीचक्रयन्त्रस्थितां विश्वोत्पत्तिलयस्थितिं विदधतीं श्रीराजराजेश्वरीं शृङ्गेरीपुरवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीशारदाम्बां भजे. द्वैताद्वैतमतानुयाय्यभिमतां विद्वद्वरैर्वन्दितां सर्वैर्दर्शनसङ्ग्रहैर्विरचिता ख्यातः कणन्नूपुरां मोहध्वान्तविनाशिनीं कलिमला प्रध्वंसिनीं तारिणीं शृङ्गेरीपुरवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीशारदाम्बां भजे. वेदोद्यानविहारिणीम् उपनिषत् तत्त्वार्थसंरक्षिणीं नानाशास्त्रकलापिनीं मुखलसद् ब्रह्मप्रभा शोभिनीं तुङ्गातीरसमुल्लवद्वनभुवां सौन्दर्यमास्वादिनीं शृङ्गेरीपुरवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीशा.
Thank you, Medhaji, for that wonderful recital. You have truly set the tone for today's event. Medhaji is from the Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai. Let me now begin the program by first giving all of you a brief introduction about Vishwadhyayan Kendra. Vishwadhyayan Kendra, the Center for International Studies, which I will be referring to as VAK in short, is basically a think tank and a Mumbai-based registered trust established with an objective to serve as a platform for creating an India-centric viewpoint on national and international issues. It serves as a forum for understanding of various cultures and traditions around the world and promotes research studies on them. It is VAK's goal to reach out to people within India and around the globe who share our passion for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Let me translate this again for the benefit of those who might not be aware of this term. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a Sanskrit phrase that means the world is one family. May I please request mobile to be on silent mode, please? The world is one family. This is precisely the philosophy of VAK as well, to encourage people to think about the collective well-being of the world rather than just focus on individual interests. Every year, in this context, we hold two major events, the Lakshman Rao Bide Memorial Lecture around Feb-March, and the Universal Brotherhood Day right after Raksha Bandhan, which is also known as the Festival of Bonding, which is what we have all gathered to celebrate here today. In line with the tone set by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, at the 21st ASEAN-India Summit, our topic for this year's UB Day is focused on our neighbors. Traditionally, in India, we consider our neighbors as extended family, echoing the values of togetherness, cooperation, and unity. Keeping this in mind, our topic for today is focused on our neighbors, titled Neighbors First, which I strongly believe will leave us with interesting food for thought at the end of the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will now be taking the program ahead, starting with the welcome note. For this, I would like to invite Sri Prabhakar Tijare ji from VAK to deliver the welcome note. Tijare ji is the current Joint Secretary of VAK and is closely associated with all their activities. Before his retirement, he had spent around 28 years in Oman, where he was associated with various social organizations run by Indian diaspora, including being the Indian ambassador's nominee on the board of directors of Indian schools. I would please request Tijare ji to come up on the podium and deliver the welcome note, please.
Namaste. Former ambassador and secretary in Ministry of External Affairs. Presently, Dr. Moe is the advisor to National Skill Development Corporation. We welcome you, sir. We have with us Mr. Cheong Ming Fong, Consul General of Republic of Singapore, and Mr. Ahmed Zubair Yusuf, Consul General of Malaysia. We welcome you, sirs. We welcome Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni ji, who will be presiding today's function. We welcome Mr. Manpreet Singh, President of Indian Chamber of International Business, and Mr. Narsimhan ji, our patron and former President of Vishwadhyayan Kendra. We welcome all the students and faculty members along with the Indian community present in the auditorium to witness today's function. Welcome you all. As we have heard, the regret letter came from our Chancellor and the Governor of Maharashtra for his inability to attend. We are sorry for that. This Vishwadhyayan Kendra, as you know, it is the registered body, not non-governmental, and providing the platform to deliberate on various international events from Bharat-centric point of view. India is an ancient civilization having knowledge-based society. We believe in Bharatiya Vichara Sadhana, where it is said, Ano Bhadraha Krutvo Yantu Vishwataha. Arthat, let the noble thought comes to us from all directions. The sole objective of Vishwa Adhyan Kendra is to attain world peace. And that is why our prayers are Vishwa Dharma Prakashena Vishwa Shanti Pravartake. Vishwa Adhyan Kendra conducts, as you know, two programs. And one is Lakshman Rao Bhide, as it was already said. And another is Vishwa Universal Brotherhood Day, which we are celebrating today. We call it a Vishwa Bandhutva Divas. We celebrate on the theme of Raksha Bandhan, which we all celebrate in our tradition as a protection given to each other by one and all in our society. In the Indian tradition, we see divinity everywhere, and India is destined to propagate that thought world over. That is why now the today's topic, which we have selected for Vishwa Bandhutva Divas, is neighborhood first. On this topic, we will be knowing better from our keynote speaker as well as other dignitaries. I welcome you all once again, all the dignitaries and the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tijarishi, for that wonderful welcome note and making all our guests feel warmly received. Ladies and gentlemen, one more huge round of applause to welcome all our esteemed guests. I would now like to move on with the introductions and felicitations, starting with our keynote speaker for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce Dr. Dhyaneshwar Muleji, who is our keynote speaker today, and someone with an unmatched wealth of experience in all walks of life. Dr. Mule has worn several hats in his illustrious career, having served as an Indian career diplomat in various capacities, including the Consul General of India, New York, and as the High Commissioner of India, Male. He superannuated after 35 years of service and was appointed by the President of India as the member National Human Rights Commission, serving there from April 2019 to 2024. He is currently playing the role of an advisor to the National Skills Development Corporation. He is also a successful writer and has written over 15 books which have been translated in various languages. His magnum opus, Marti Pankh Ani Akash, written in Marathi, is immensely popular and has been prescribed in the arts curriculum of the North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. He has inspired a number of socio-educational projects, including Balodyan and the Dhyaneshwar Mule Education Society. And it is also my pleasure to share here that he has been conferred with the Chintanman Rao Deshmukh National Award just a couple of days back. It is indeed a privilege to have you with us here today, sir. At this juncture, I would like to invite Sri Narasimhanji to kindly felicitate Dr. Mule in appreciation of his presence at Universal Brotherhood Day 2024. Sri Narasimhanji is a veteran, has worked with several social organizations, and is a very senior member of VAK, having been associated with us for over 2 decades now. He has served as the ex-president of VAK and continues to be a guiding force and mentor for our organization. As you're already aware, one of the key collaborators of the Universal Brotherhood Day 2024 with VAK is the Indian Chamber of International Business, ICIB. Sri Manpreet Singh Nagi ji is acting president of the ICIB, and at this point, I would like to give you a quick introduction about him. He's a chemical engineer from Mumbai University with a business management from IIM Bangalore. He has also completed various programs from IIT Mumbai and also from the University of Amsterdam, Netherlands, in his line of study. In addition to his role as an entrepreneur owning multiple companies, he has also been instrumental in various government and private bodies for promotion of bilateral trade and commerce and international trade and exchange. So in my view, there is nobody better than Manpreet ji to brief us about the activities of the Indian Chamber of International Business and also introduce both our special guests for the day, the Consul General of the Republic of Singapore, Mr. Chong Ming Fung, and the Consul General of Malaysia, Mr. Ahmed Zuawi Yusuf. Requesting Manpreet ji to please come forward to the podium and do the needful.
Thank you so much, everyone. And first of all, a big thank you to Mumbai University and VAK for having us all together in the same room today. It's an honor to be here and be part of the instrument, I would say, that has brought us all together. Indian Chamber of International Business is a chamber of commerce like many others in this country, but we are the main driving force behind external relations and international relations. We are present in 42 countries. We are majorly working on people-to-people contact, on how to bring people together, and trade and business, we believe, will always follow. One of our major initiatives are industry academic collaborations, because that is what is needed to bring our children out to the new world, the real world, when they finish their studies. This is one of the most important aspects of us as a Chamber of Commerce. Of course, we are having a lot of members all over the country. We've been working across various state governments, central governments. Our major focus is on small and medium businesses and how to take them global. We've been working with most of the countries in the world. Like I said, we are ourselves present in 42 countries. But I take pride in saying that you can actually take up a globe, put your finger on a country, and I'm sure that we will be there in one way or the other. And I'm sure that we'll be one of the first to be in either the Arctic or Antarctic too. But this also means that we have to bring together not only for us as an organization, but what we can do for you. As a Chamber of Commerce, we believe that our role is just as facilitators, and the whole role of doing the actual business lies in the membership, the people, the companies, and the small and medium businesses. At the end of the day, it is our Prime Minister's call that we have seen in the last few years with the G20, which is Vasudev Kutumbakam. This is, in true sense, what India is all about, where we really treat the whole world as a family. We have seen so many events and activities and relations with the whole world that happened during the G20, which is continuing even now today. We are also trying to see as much as possible on the peace initiatives and what we have been doing. You can all see through the media, through the television, how our country is trying to be the driving force in uniting the world today. It's all about the leadership and what it brings to the table, which trickles down to all of us, literally you and me who are sitting in this room. Right from the students to all the companies and all my fellow people on the dais. It is a direction that binds us all, and then we take it together. Today, I would like to also add that I'm also the patron member of VAK. That brings me more closer to VAK and this event together. But that has also brought me closer to the whole world, because it is the think tank that brings us to think and how we can actually make a difference. We have two lovely consul generals from Singapore and from Malaysia, who are also personal friends and very good, and they've created that difference when it comes to the bilateral relations between India and especially the Western region. Both these consul generals have taken a lead in seeing that Malaysia and Singapore are so close to India that has never been in the past. The number of activities that we saw Singapore do come with us, I think both of them have never said no to any of our activities, and I'm proud of that. And thank you both of you all for this thing. It is a pleasure to have you both with us. I would like to invite a Consul General from Singapore, Mr. Ng Ming Fung, to please open up for his opening remarks.
My fellow speakers on the dais, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to everyone. It is indeed my privilege to address you all today on this occasion of as we mark the occasion of Universal Brotherhood Day here in Mumbai. This day reminds us of our shared humanity and the bonds that connect us and the responsibility we bear to foster understanding and cooperation as neighbors. So the theme for this year's Universal Brotherhood Day is most apt, neighbors first. Indeed, in this period of heightened global tensions, what with wars and conflicts and all that, all of which threaten the very fabric of our societies, it is all the more important for us to double down on relationships with our neighbors. In Singapore, we've always understood that our well-being is intrinsically linked to the stability and prosperity of our region, not least because we are so tiny at only 770 square kilometers. Our foreign policy, rooted in mutual respect and constructive engagement, has helped us to navigate the complexities of the world post-independence. We gained independence in 1965, while ensuring the security and success of our country. Our foreign policy emphasizes the importance of respect for sovereignty and non-interference, principles that resonate, I'm sure, very much with all of us here. So, although there's a misconception that Singapore's foreign policy is neutral, let me say that this is not the case. As I mentioned, it is to act in a principled and consistent way based on our long-term national interests and to find mutually beneficial ways of cooperating with all our friends. A cornerstone of this policy is our consistent commitment to our immediate neighborhood, and more specifically ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Through ASEAN, our member states have prioritized collective issues from economic cooperation to disaster relief. Also through ASEAN, we have brought major powers, including India, to the same table for open, constructive discussions to encourage peace, stability, and economic cooperation. And as mentioned just now, India, we just had the ASEAN-India summit as well in Laos. This bringing together of all the powers would not have been possible if each of us, ASEAN member states, had tried to do so independently on our own. Now, India may not be an immediate neighbor to Singapore, but it is an immediate neighbor to Southeast Asia, to ASEAN, and is an important one. In this regard, we see India as our natural and important partner for ASEAN and ASEAN's prosperity. I'm particularly pleased that relations between ASEAN and India were upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership during Singapore's coordinatorship of the ASEAN-India dialogue relations over the past 3 years. Bilaterally, our close ties to India serve as a powerful testament to the benefits of this collaborative spirit. Together, we have embarked on initiatives that enhance connectivity, trade, and cultural exchange. The India-Singapore Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, which was signed almost 20 years ago, has paved the way for much deeper economic engagement that not only strengthens our economies, but creates opportunities for both our peoples. And at the highest levels, there has been a lot of political exchange, including the recent visit of Prime Minister Modi ji to Singapore. Today, as we reflect on the spirit of universal brotherhood, let us remember that our collective strength lies in our diversity. Each culture, each tradition enriches the tapestry of our shared existence. In Singapore, we celebrate our multicultural society, where different ethnicities and religions coexist harmoniously. This diversity is not merely a source of pride, it is an essential element of our resilience. It teaches us that by embracing one another's differences, we can build a more inclusive, peaceful world. As we navigate the complexities of today's geopolitical landscape, let us also not forget the power of people-to-people connections. Education, cultural exchange, and mutual respect are critical in fostering understanding and building bridges with our neighbors. Just last week, I had a very engaging session in Pune with a group of Singaporean students from our Singapore University of Social Sciences. They had spent 10 days in Pune on an immersion program, visiting many major companies there, and it was such an eye-opener for them, and they were so full of questions. And I think it marks such great potential, because they are still young, barely in their 20s, and they are already so excited by India. So, by encouraging our citizens, especially our youth, to engage with one another, I say we are laying the groundwork for a more peaceful and prosperous future. Let me conclude by quoting my then Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong's words at the annual India-ASEAN Summit in October 2021. India is a long-standing friend of Singapore, and was one of the first countries to recognize our independence. The historical, literary, cultural, and economic ties go back many centuries." Unquote. This rings true today, and Singapore is committed to building upon these strong foundations with our neighbour, India, for an even more prosperous era of relations ahead of the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful discourse. I would like to take this opportunity to request Sri Amit Chatterjee to do the honors of felicitating the Consul General of the Republic of Singapore, Mr. Cheong Ming Foong. Amitji is the program coordinator for this wonderful event, and he has been associated with VAK since 2006. He is also the founding member of the Africa Studies Center. On the professional front, he works in the domain of IT and cybersecurity and has the experience of delivering over 25 smart cities. Thank you, Amitji. It will now be my honor to invite to the podium someone who represents a nation known for its rich cultural heritage and strong international relations. Without any further delay, I would now like to invite the Consul General of Malaysia, Mr. Ahmad Suwari Yusof, to kindly come forward and share a few words with us on today's topic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him.
Okay, thank you, Madam MC. Very good evening. Namaste. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So to our esteemed guests on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you for having me here. It is an honor for me to be given this opportunity to speak to all of you in conjunction with this Universal Brotherhood Day commemoration. So my heartiest congratulations to the organizer for successfully organize this kind of event. I'm happy to note that this kind of Universal Brotherhood Day was initiated by none other than Swami Vivekananda on 11 September 1893. So his vision and aspiration remain relevant even in present time, even after 130 years have passed. As conflict raging between neighboring countries, be in Europe or Middle East or everywhere else, the message of Swami Vivekananda not only should continue to be promoted, but also to be part of our struggle as we pursue justice and fairness to every man and woman. I believe all religions, be it Hindu, Islam, Sikhs, Jain, Jews, Christianity, Buddha, they all condemn violence and call for equality. All religions share histories and origins. In the eyes of God, there is no distinction between humans. As Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, an Indian philosopher, once said, Hindus and Muslims are two eyes of the beautiful bride that is Hindustan. Weakness of any of them will spoil the beauty of the bride. So, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of source, I would like to talk about a bit about history about Malaysia and India. So we have a lot of resources, but the recent one that I read is from Mr. William Dalrymple's book, The Golden Road. So I'm happy to note that Malaysia's name was mentioned quite a lot. I think about in many pages, indicating the close and active connection between our people of our two nations as early as the 4th century CE. So Indian traders reached the shore of Malaysia through Strait of Malacca, not only bringing cargoes of goods, but also skilled artisans and ideas continue to shape our world today. For Malaysia, our ties with India remain strong and unmoved. The elevation of our bilateral relation to a comprehensive strategic partnership reflected our shared priorities of connectivity, sustainable economic growth, green development, technological transformation, and also delivery of public goods. Both Malaysia and India have come a long way in our partnership, and there's much scope for us to capitalize on each other's capabilities. In line with today's Universal Brotherhood Day topic, which is never first, Malaysia welcomed India's call of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So one Earth, one family, one community during its G20 chairmanship last year. The third Voice of Global South Summit, hosted by India in August, made it amply clear that India is prepared to shape the global sector agenda hand in hand with its partner. An empowered global south is inevitable. The opportunities are there to push the envelope on addressing global issues on terms that we can sit in consultation with each other. A stronger Malaysia-India ties are consequential to a better connected global south. As one of the best connected Southeast Asian countries to India by air, Malaysia is strategically positioned to encourage seamless movement between our region, not only for business, but also for education and tourism as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, uncertainty is part and parcel of our daily life. What we should always remember is the true greatness lies not avoiding the storms of life, but in weathering them with unwavering resolve. In our tireless pursuit of a harmonious and just world, we are reminded of the wisdom of the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. He said, "Let me not pray to be sheltered from danger, but to be fearless in facing them." As we look forward to have peace, prosper, and sustainable future, let us resolve to do it together by the brilliance of our shared endeavors, with unwavering commitment to the ideas that define us. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit sir, for your valuable insights and your emphasis on the importance of fostering good relations with all our neighbors. Okay. Now I would request Shri Vinod Dubey ji to step forward and do the honors of felicitating Mr. Ahmed. Vinod Dubey ji has been associated with social organizations for more than 25 years now. After completing his graduation in commerce from Mumbai University, he has played varied roles in the IT and communication domain. Thank you both. Coming back to the felicitations, it is my honor to introduce our distinguished guest, who is the presiding guest for today, Professor Dr. Shri Ravindra Kulkarni ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University. Dr. Kulkarni is a renowned academician with a stellar career in chemical technology and education. As the former Pro-Vice Chancellor and a leading figure at the Institute of Chemical Technology, he has been instrumental in driving academic innovation and advancing educational excellence. With around 3 decades of teaching experience, Dr. Kulkarni is a senior professor at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, with core research in the area of oils, oleochemicals, and surfactant technology. He completed his graduation from ICT and his PhD from Rashtrasant Tukdoji Maharaj, Nagpur University in Engineering and Chemical Technology. Dr. Kulkarni has 7 patents in his name so far and has over 80 international research publications to his name. He is also the chairman of the committee formed to implement the new education policy that we call NEP 2020 in the state. I would like to take this opportunity to request Shri Sanjay Kelapuri ji to do the honors of felicitating Dr. Kulkarni. Sanjay ji is a VAK veteran, having been associated with us since inception, and he has also been the ex-president of VAK for around 6 years. He's associated with several social organizations and has been avidly working towards betterment of society. On the professional front, he's into the business of HR consultancy. Please. Thank you both. Continuing with the felicitation, Continuing with the felicitation, I would now like to invite Shri Narendra Dubey ji to do the honors of felicitating Shri Manpreet Singh Nagi ji. Narendra Dubey ji is an entrepreneur engaged in the business of HR consultancy. He's also an avid reader and a passionate social worker who has been associated with VAK for over a decade now. He's also a member of the organizing team of the World Hindu Economic Forum 2024, scheduled to be held in December this year. Thank you both. Thank you. At this juncture, I would like to take a pause from the felicitation and acknowledge the presence of some very special guests who have graced us with their presence today. We are truly honored to have amongst us Dr. Asavari Bapaji. Dr. Asavari Bapaji, an academician, was in the teaching profession for more than 20 years. Currently, she is just back after successful accomplishment of her tenure as first secretary and director culture, first in Myanmar for 3.5 years and then in Kathmandu, Nepal for 2 years. Happy to mention that she was also the vice president of VAK from 2014 to 2017. Welcome, ma'am. Shri Ratan Sharda ji. Shri Ratan Sharda ji, he is the founder member of VAK and plays multiple roles as an entrepreneur, author of several books, and is a TV panelist. I'm sure many of you all would have watched him on TV. By profession, he is an IT consultant and an ERP expert. Welcome, Ratan Sharda ji. Shri Mahesh Deshpande ji, he is the guardian member of VAK and is the acting vice principal of Bhavans College, Mumbai. Welcome, sir. Shri Sudesh Bagaria ji, he is a very senior veteran guide for VAK and is the owner of the Bagaria Group of Industries. He is also the Mumbai Mahanagar Sangh Chalak. Welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands once again in extending a warm welcome to all these special guests. So we move on to the discourse segment. May I kindly invite Professor Dr. Shri Ravindra Kulkarni ji, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Mumbai, to please come forward to the podium and deliver his much anticipated address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Good evening to all. Keynote speaker for the function, the renowned diplomat, Dr. Dnyaneshwar ji, the two Consul Generals representing Republic of Singapore and Republic of Malaysia, Manpreet ji, the Indian Chamber for International Business, Vishwayadhan Kendra dignitaries, and all my just further card. It's indeed a really good program organized jointly by Vishwayadhan Kendra with Indian Chamber for International Business as well as our two multiple university departments, School of International Relations and Strategic Studies, Department of Archaeology, Department of Extramural Studies, Center of Hindu Studies, and Professor Bayapte Center of Studies for Students and Youth Movement. In fact, looking at the importance of having strong linkages, strong bonding, and as well as coupled with deeper geopolitical strategies. From that perspective only, we have started the School of International Relations and Strategic Studies since 2021. And the center and the school is really growing very well. Mumbai is the city of all Consul General, and from that perspective, we always invite on every Deepavali, like it's an initiative by University of Mumbai, because we have many offices of Consul Generals of different countries. So just to introduce about the culture of Deepavali, and in that perspective, to introduce the Indian culture to all Consul Generals, University of Mumbai organizes every year a specific program for Consul General of different countries whose offices are located in Mumbai. So this year also we are inviting them on 30th September. So that brings all Consul Generals together, where we introduce our culture to them and simultaneously understand from them the different requirements that brings different countries together. Friends, I must tell you that the organizers have chosen a right keynote speaker. We all have heard centuries back from our Saint Naneshwar, हे विश्वची माझे घर, ही जयाची मती स्थिर, किंबहुना चराचर आपणही झाला. So one who believes entire universal brotherhood. Okay, that's what our Saint Naneshwar has said. And he, whenever he cites Poseidon, he always talks about Vishwatmaka Deva. So talking about a spiritual power which is behind the entire universe. And that's how we always believe in that. And that Vishwa Bandhutva, or like universal brotherhood, that's what we are always talking about. So from that perspective, Dr. Jnaneshwar Mule, whose name has a resemblance to Sant Jnaneshwar, okay, he is one of the right keynote speaker. Of course, he is keynote speaker in his own capacity of, because he has served as a diplomat in different countries, and he has very glorious career. And all aspiring IAS, IPS, IRS, even Indian Forest Service aspiring students always look towards Dr. Jnaneshwar Mule for taking up the exams and looking for a very successful, glorious, very colorful career which Dr. Jnaneshwar Mule has. In fact, right from the long age, I'm listening to his speeches on at different platform, on different topics, at different context also. So he is really a great speaker. So in that sense, definitely the organizers have made a right choice. Friends, when we are looking for first neighborhood policy or looking for a universal brotherhood, simultaneously we always look. So just I am taking up a context of universities. Universities world across are supposed to work together for the best benefit of education, research, and collaborations. And from that perspective only, like we work together so that the students from one university can move to the students to other university, and so that they will have a right understanding of global citizenship. They will have a right understanding of global culture. They will have a right understanding of the global practices of teaching and learning. And so that global linkage between universities world across always brings not only the best of education, but at the same time brings students of different communities together under one umbrella. In fact, one of our collaborators in US always thinks about organizing one program on the first day, because we receive students from different countries. So on that first day, our collaborator works like my collaborator university has students from almost 65 different countries. So on the first day, what they do, instead of, now it's a natural tendency that whenever students migrate, move to other country for taking up higher education, they will always look for their own fellow countrymen. And then probably if someone is from India, then whether he is from Maharashtra, and then if he is from Mumbai, likewise, that's a kind of a natural attitude which every student from different country looks for whenever he or she takes up education in any university world across. So they have developed a very good curriculum wherein on the first day itself, the students from different countries are put together, and they were asked to live together for the entire day. Now they are unaware of each culture of each other country. They are unaware of, in fact, they did not have any friendship, and so it's an observation that the way they interact, okay, that makes right sense for a future brotherhood amongst all those students itself. So that's a course which has been developed, and we are also taking up, because now we also have a lot of international students. Friends, always looking for a peaceful coexistence, looking for a mutual affinity, looking for a co-bonding that brings all of us together. We all have to serve at least in the best interest of our earth, Vasundhara, so that we would be able to keep our atmosphere, the climates very much safer for coming generations. And so from that perspective also, all of us will have to work together, not only from strategic perspective, even from the perspective of coexistence for generations together. I hope with this particular Universal Brotherhood, which the Vishwa Adhyan Kendra is organizing on every year, it's a right program. And of course, we always are eager to work with Vishwa Adhyan Kendra as well as Indian Chamber of International Business, so that the overall learning on international coexistence, international trade, international strategic relationship could be taken forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us here today. Your words have certainly enlightened us, offering a fresh perspective on the theme of Neighbor First. We are sure your thoughts will remain with us for a long time. Coming to the last leg of the felicitations, it is indeed my privilege to acknowledge the presence of a very special guest who is here with us today, Shri Surajit Chatterjee. Surajit ji holds the esteemed position of Managing Director, Data Center India at Capital Land Investment. Capital Land Data Center, CLDC, is a global operating platform within Capital Land, specializing in data centers. CLDC has a presence in 8 countries with over 27 locations, with over 26 years of rich experience spread across dynamic sectors like IT services, telecom infrastructure, and now the burgeoning data center landscape. Surajit ji has curated a portfolio of expertise. His profound understanding spans data center and cloud solutions, managed services, data center operations. Associated with various top-tier industry governing bodies, Surajit ji continues to shape the narrative around modern enterprise solutions and startup ecosystems. Also to add, Capital Land Investment has already invested around $1 billion in India and will be investing a further $1.5 billion within the next 4 years in various sectors. I'm sure all of you would agree that having a strong and secure technology infrastructure backbone is the need of the hour in the country and will go a long way in shaping the future of the digital landscape in India. We would like to acknowledge this as a major contribution to the Indian industry. I will now like to call upon Sri Gyanendra Mishra ji to do the honors of felicitating Surajit ji. Gyanendra ji is the Presiding General Secretary of VAK and the major driving force behind all the events conducted here. He has been associated with the organization for over 23 years and is also a member of the organizing team. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. With this, we are done with the felicitations, and now we move on to the final discourse for the day. So before that, before inviting our keynote speaker for the day, in the audience, if you have any questions, there will be volunteers who will be coming around with chits. So you can just note down your question on the chit, and I will take on the same during the Q&A session, which will be after the last discourse. I would now like to invite our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. Dhyaneshwar Muleji, to please step forward and share his expert perspective on the subject, which I'm sure will be golden nuggets for all of us assembled here, given his stellar experience in the domain. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for a warm applause.
वेल नमस्कार मंडळी, कसं काय? ओके, आपल्या मुंबईमध्ये थोडं मराठी बोललं पाहिजे. गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल ऑफ यू. नमस्कार, सलाम अलैकुम. टू आवर मलेशियन फ्रेंड्स, सलाम अलैकुम. सत श्री अकाल. एनीबडी फ्रॉम साउथ? वणक्कम. ओके. Well, that is the universal brotherhood. No? Ram Ram. So, namaskar to all of you once again. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shri Ravindra Kulkarni ji, Shri Senior Official from the WAC, Shri Narsimhan ji, Manpreet Nagi ji of the Chamber of Commerce, International Business. My colleagues, I still feel that I'm in diplomatic circles. I'm not. I'm a free man. But diplomats are not free. And according to one definition, diplomats are sent abroad to lie for their country. But I don't think that's true. We rarely lie. We lie down all right, but we don't lie. So my other colleague, Mr. Fung from Singapore, Yusuf from Malaysia, and all of you. I see a lot of my friends in the audience. It's a great pleasure talking to all of you. I'm not going to take names of everyone, but it's a great day. Though I wonder why it should be called Universal Brotherhood Day. Why not Sisterhood Day? Why not Fatherhood Day? Why not Motherhood Day? Why not universal has to be brotherhood? Who told us this? Does it fit in anywhere in the scheme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? But I think these are the legacy issues which the future generation will take care. I will right now call it Universal Family Day, or Universal One Family, One Earth, One Future Day. Right? That fits in the scheme of things that we are discussing, because you have Vishwa Adhyayan Kendra, you have University of Bombay, universe. It's not that the university is a universe. It is a place where the whole universe comes together, or it is a place from where knowledge, information, ideas, concepts, they flow all over the world. That is why it is university. So when we go, today's has got multiple, subunits for our talk here. One is the larger issue of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, universal familyhood, day. The second is what we call neighborhood first. Once you say universal Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it becomes a subset. Neighborhood first becomes a subset. It's not something extra. It's part of that. It has to fit into that. And the third is so-called, my colleague said, that my country does everything from the nation's interest. Now, what is first? Is nation's interest first? Is my first neighborhood first? Or the universal good? That is the beauty. And if you really, generally I don't speak much about the glory of India's thought, the glory of India's ideas. But this gives me an opportunity to delve a little bit into that, and how do we really see this interesting construct. Now let's take Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is better than universal, Brotherhood Day. And when we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it's a good way to look at the entire shlok. It's a beautiful shlok. I'll first tell you the shlok. Hem bandhu rem neti manasa lagu chetasam udara charita nam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Well, this is not a shlok. It's a vision. It's an idea. It's the entire foreign policy of India can be summed up. In fact, its entire, 5,000 years of Indian thought can be compressed into this. That is the beauty of this. It's not just कि हम लोग सब इकट्ठा है, हम लोग एक ही है, we are all humanity. No, it goes much deeper, much larger than that. Now, how I'll tell you. You know America, they have like we have Satyamev Jayate, they also have a motto called E pluribus unum. What it means is from many, one. From many, because a lot of people came from different parts of the world and we became what we are, America. Indian thought, while we say unity in diversity, That's not how Indian thought is. Indian thought is ekoham bahusyam. It means that while organically we are all one, we express ourselves differently. Ekoham vipra bahudha vadanti. While we are one set, we are not different. It is not correct to say that so and so is Latin American and so is from Argentina and so is from Africa. No. We came from the same Lucy, the African, body that is kept, the first human being supposed to have been lived. She is our ancestor. So in a sense, we are all Africans. What I mean to say is the Indian thought says that ekoham bahusyam, because we are all one. We just express differently. That is how it should be, because Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam does presupposes certain things. And what are they? It presupposes that once we are family, we live together peacefully. Once we are family, we respect each other. Once we are family, we cease to have a war. Once we are family, we have a dialogue, we have a conversation, and we resolve our issue through conversations. That is what Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is, and it's important to know that we have always, Indian thought always has considered the world, in fact not world, it's universe. Universe is much beyond the earth. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadevo namaskaro keshavam pratigaccha. So you can bow before any god, pray to any god. It will go to that ultimate that exists. It is not Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Many people just say Vasudeva Kutumbakam, Vasudeva. I'm tired of listening to it. It's a Vasudha, the Prithvi, the universe. Vasudha ये हमारी क्या है, हमारा परिवार है, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, not वासुदेव कुटुंबकम. Often people say it wrongly. Now when we say vasudhaiva kutumbakam, it has two elements. When you break it into parts. We should not generally break it because our thinking has been generally holistic. But if you have to take two parts, one is you go out to the universe, to meet the universe. And the other one is you invite everybody. Takshashila and Nalanda were very good examples of the ancient times, where everybody came. And we also invited the thought, and that everybody came to gather here the pearls of wisdom from this country. And everybody from here went out also. And we say that, Ano Bhadraha Krato Yantu Vishwapa. Let noble thoughts come and flow to us from all over the world. That is also part of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So that's why I say, if 5,000 years wisdom has to be put into a single word, then it will be Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You want to define democracy? Use this test of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Udara Charita naam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. जो छोटे दिल का होता है वो कहता है कि ये मेरा भाई है, ये मेरा दुश्मन है, मेरा भाई नहीं है. लेकिन जिसका चरित्र विशाल होता है, मन उदार होता है, वो कहता है कि अरे ये तो अपना परिवार है. That is democracy. This is the democracy. This is the meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We don't have to go far away to listen to Abraham Lincoln saying that, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Why country? Why not humanity? How can if you think logically, how can an individual's interest can be different from family's interest? Family's interest can be different from society's interest. Society's interest can be different from a state's interest. State's interest can be different from a nation's interest, and nation's interest can be different from the global interest. This is what we have to think, and this is what India has thought. And I'll give you any number of examples. Well, I can talk about this for hours, but I'll try and limit myself to 15-20 minutes, or till I see on your face a kind of a feeling, हाँ बहुत हो गया, यार ये बंद क्यों नहीं करता है अपना मुंह. So, what are some interesting historical pieces which reflect this richness of thought, philosophy, ideas? it had to be Second World War and its devastating impact, where millions perished, more or less for no reason, I would say, for the Western world to awake and think we need to start a world without war. It had to be 1945. Imagine. Go back BC 261, War of Kalinga. The Mauryan Empire, Ashok, Emperor Ashok, he conquered Kalinga, and he said, when he saw the bloodshed, what did he think? No more war. This is not what I want. If this is what victory means, this is not what I want. It cannot be I win and you lose. It has to be I'm okay, you're okay. There's a business principle also. Both sides have to win. And then this is 261. When Ashoka renounced the war, what did he do? He took Buddhism. And he sent, whom did he send as his emissaries? Monks, primarily. He sent his daughter, he sent his children up to Egypt, Greece, Macedonia, China, Tibet, Sri Lanka, Maldives. Any number of countries he sent these emissaries for peace. We do not know that India was the first country to send monks as the ambassadors of peace all over the world. We need to reiterate. And we need to see how we can incorporate this thought into our entire policy making, etc., etc., etc. But let's think of why did the thought came to Ashoka. Prior to that, we have had Buddha. And Bhagwan Buddha was an outstanding personality for the simple reason that we all move by grief, old age, illness, dead body. There is a word in Marathi called Smashan Vairagya also. We think philosophically when we are on the funeral ground. Oh, life is like this, life is very short, life is, you never know when what will happen. Buddha, when he saw that such a misery exists, he had to leave his palace to find out the truth behind it. And ultimately, long penance, long journey, lots of gurus, denial of lots of gurus, new questions and questions and questions, and ultimately he achieved what we call enlightenment. And what was that enlightenment? Well, there are many ways to tell what is enlightenment. I say, Atto Deepa Bhava. Be the light. Be yourself, be the light. You lighten up yourself from within. Be an enlightened person. So this is again prior to Ashoka's times. And throughout history, then you can see that there has been the recurrence of this thought, sometimes in a silent way. Sometimes I feel we had a lot of conquerors from abroad because we did believe in peace and genuine peace. That's where the strategic thought and diplomatic self-interest comes in. But we'll go to that maybe a little later. So then throughout history you see till about 1200 AD or so, there is a huge, because once you accept this universality of things, then your philosophy grows, your science grows, and that's how we have had lots of progress. India was one country where we had Arthashastra of Chanakya, Kama Sutra of Vatsyayan, you had Vedas, you had Ayurveda also separately, and each of these things thought that particular universe in a holistic manner. And well, huge. I do not know of any country in the world which has so much of body of knowledge, and I would add, about which its own people are unaware. So much of literature, it is said that when Goethe, how you pronounce, first read Shakuntalam, which most of us have not read. He apparently held it on his head and danced with joy that such a work of literature could be there. We have had Natya Shastra. We have, of course, had geometry. We have had astronomy. So, in all these things, India had prospered. Coming to the Middle Ages, when we see that a new resurgence happened through our Bhakti movement. And essentially what Bhakti movement did is what was perhaps limited to certain people, that thought percolated into dialects and bolis and local languages in every state. So you have Narsi Mehta, you have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have Tukaram, Jnaneshwar, Subramanyam Bharati, such a plethora of people who tried to bring the knowledge that was limited in primarily Sanskrit, Pali, Brahmi to their own languages. It was a great revolution. Eknath apparently asked, Sanskrit bhasha deve ke liye Marathi kayet sora pasun ali. We recently, as you know, the good news that Marathi has been recognized as the classical language of India. It's a great honor to all of us. And I happen to be the chair of the committee that was set up to follow up that matter. I don't think it happened because of me. It happened because of earlier people had all laid excellent foundation, and I just happened to be there at the right time to receive the honor. And that is a kind of a coincidence. But one thing that is also, when you say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it also presupposes diversity. Because diversity is not there, then what is the point? A single unit is flourishing. That is not holistic growth. And India is ultimate example of how diversity can stay together. Ultimate example. Once I was asked as a diplomat in New York, how would you define India in one sentence? If I ask you this question, how would you define? Same, I also had 1 minute silence in my mind. I didn't know, but it was a big gathering. I had to say it immediately. So what I said, and I hope you will agree with it, I said that India is 1.3 billion. That time we were 1.3 billion. India is 1.3 billion stories. This was my answer. Now what does it really mean? It means that we are diverse. Each of us has a story to tell. Our language is different, our culture is different, our festivals are different, the way we wear clothing is different, what we eat is different, the way we dance is different. You have Kathakali here and Bhangra there, and you have Odissi there, and you have Lezim here. Oh my God! Nowhere in the world it's a universe within universe. And we should be very proud of this. Because many countries believe that such and such type, for example, I heard this word Jewish democracy. I have heard this word Islamic democracy. Once you say democracy, then freedom, equality, justice has to be available to everywhere, to every person, all the times. There is no compromise. You can't say it's a Hindu democracy or a Muslim democracy. No. Democracy is democracy. Mudra bhadraya rajate. That is the wording from Chhatrapati Shivaji's Mudra, that we stand here for the well-being of everyone. That is the thought also coming from this thing. In modern world, I saw one person yawning in the entire gathering. I won't name the person because I don't know the name. So, in the modern times, also this message of universal familyhood has been carried effectively. We have had Gandhi, who reshaped the entire, way of resisting. We call it peaceful resistance, non-violence, and of course, he brought everybody together. Women, for the first time, left their homes and came into the mainstream. It was again a kind of a message that you don't have to fight with each other physically always. There are ways in which you can create resistance. And there is no greater weapon than weapon of peace, weapon of resistance. Well, some strategists won't agree because they do feel that it is necessary, and maybe there are times it is necessary also. The war is an essential part of how we have been all along. But that is not all. I mentioned some time back about how it had to be World War II for the world to come to the terms of, try to bring peace to the entire world. And there are two women, and I think women can perhaps listen to this more carefully. Prior to India's independence, these two women, Hansa Mehta and Lakshmi Menon, some of you might have heard this name. They were part of that team which was drafting the United Nations Charter. Two women from India. Both of them were freedom fighters. They were deeply involved in serving the society. And the first sentence in the charter was, all men are born equal. It was Lakshmi Menon who suggested that all human beings are born equal. So straight away a revolution. Because when we replace the word men with human beings, we don't only replace the word, we replace the world and bring it a new meaning. And Hansa Mehta, who was another representative of India, India was still not a republic that time. It was just in the process of getting independence, but we were part of the discussions and deliberations. And Hansa Mehta, the entire document had characterized in each place as he. And she brought the word person in place of he to make it a universal document. This is India's contribution. This is India's thought, how it has come. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in practice. Because if your thought is only masculine, you're thinking about only men as the center of the earth, then you're not going to think of anything else. It'll be war, war, and war again, if it has to be only man's world. But this tradition is continued today. Come 2019-20, we have COVID, and India is not necessarily America, it is not necessarily Australia or England. India gives vaccines to 101 countries. Yes? Don't we see this as a miracle? While some developed countries were negotiating strange guarantees from the people they were supplying the vaccines, India was more or less giving it free, and it gave it to 101 countries, almost 30 million vaccines. Whosoever thought about it, I just salute that thought that we have decided to give these vaccines free to many countries and with reasonable charges. While certain pharmaceutical companies, which call themselves the leaders in the world, they were busy making profits. India gave these vaccines freely. It's an amazing example of how we look at the world without any discrimination. This has continued, whether it is in Congo or Korean War, Indian peacekeeping forces have been very, very actively they participated and tried to bring peace. Now it is a fact that nations, we say all that is a globalized world. Unfortunately, it is not. There is a book called The World is Flat. The world, unfortunately, is not flat. It is full of inequality, it is full of exploitation, it is full of poverty, it is full of deprivation, it is full of warmongering nations, it's full of nations that are spreading terror also. Fortunately, India does not belong to that category. But we have our own issues. If you come to neighborhood, which is first, then we have to say what kind of neighbor are we dealing with. Neighbor is a very tricky thing, always. If you are living in a society, you know how some of the neighbors are. Very difficult to talk to. In urban areas, you don't even know who the neighbor is, because we are also limited by the a space that we have. Our thinking becomes limited by the space that we have. But India has continuously strived, and I do feel that the non-aggression, non-interference principle that was enunciated earlier during Nehru's time still stands. We are very, very proud of the fact that India has never actively thrust war upon any country. No. Our wars are throughout the history, Indian wars have been of reactive nature. When you come to neighborhood is a very complex, complicated thing and full of contradictions. You have had Pakistan, which has such good feelings for India. We know all that. So much so that they sponsor terrorism, sometimes by the state, sometimes by the private actors. It's very unfortunate that somebody has to resort to terror and violence on a neighbor. So our efforts have to be continued. We have to continue our efforts to bring them to table, discuss with them, tell upon them, impress upon them that this is not going to work. And we have done that time and again. In fact, right now, I think Dr. Jaishankar would be in Pakistan, and he would be perhaps telling the same thing, that we cannot move forward. Just because we are a peaceful nation doesn't mean we will tolerate violence on us, on our people, on our borders, or on our territory. But that's very important thing. We think of Mahabharata and Ramayana. Both had wars. So it's not that we are averse to wars, but we don't want wars. It's not that we cannot, inflict damage on others, but that is not our part of our philosophy. We are capable of doing that, but we won't do that. So with Pakistan, it's a very touch and go, always blow cold, because it's a stable nation cannot create stable foreign policy. That is their problem. India can do that because we are a stable nation. The transfer of power in this country since independence has always been very, very smooth. Next come to Maldives. Maldives is a fascinating country with its own huge problems. It has got 92,000 square kilometers of area and 300 square kilometers of land, which is less than the city of Pune. And that's not all. This 300 square kilometers is further divided into 1,200 small islands, which are spread across 90,000 plus square kilometers. Between the two islands, it's not easy to travel. The waters are choppy, and unless you have a speedboat, because the distances might look close, but they are very, very difficult to cover. So who is going? And the population typically of any island is 500, 300, 700, that kind of a population. The city of Malé, which is the capital of the country, has about 150,000 to 2 lakh people staying there in the 4 to 5 square kilometers. Now you will wonder who is teaching in those distant islands, and who is treating them for medical issues. It's Indian doctors. 80% of doctors and teachers in Maldives are Indians. We don't know this. Effectively, both education and health services in that country is being run by India. I can go on telling about how India has helped them, from rice to wheat flour to river sand, to their banking, to their financing of the resort. State Bank has done an enormous job in building that country, rarely acknowledged by Maldives. Maldives has these issues because once you build a narrative of insider-outsider, because Maldives is a 100% Sunni Islamic country, what it means is really suddenly you have created barriers on the basis of religion. So you always have trouble, difficulty, and you have to evolve principles to deal with outsiders. India does not have that problem because of our diversity. So while we do provide them with everything, including the security, including what I said, dal, roti, chawal, even paz also. We have a policy that even if we have issues in India, we will always give preferential because it's our neighbor. Love thy neighbor, even Bible says. So we're trying to love our neighbor, but sometimes love is misunderstood as weakness. That should not be done. That is not fair game, and that doesn't fit in diplomacy. Diplomacy is always on the basis of reciprocity. My colleagues will agree. So this is Maldives, and we have to deal with it as it goes on. Fortunately, there is a democracy, and with democracy, all the drawbacks of democracy have also seeped in. Prior to that, we had 30 years of peaceful relationship with Mr. Gayoom, who was the president, but he was single-handedly handling the country, and it wasn't a democracy. So this is also a contradiction that democracies sometimes become problematic, but they have a longer life than dictatorships. It's also a fact. So Bhutan, Nepal, you are perhaps aware that these countries also, India has poured in enormous amounts of aid and assistance over a period of last 50 years. There were times when we had difficulty, but we have always aided them. In fact, there was a time when we were borrowing, but we were giving them assistance. That is the kind of neighborhood policy. Who was there when there was sudden shortage of water in Maldives? India was the first to go there. Shiploads of water we have given to them. At the time of tsunami, we were the first to go and help them. 1988, when President Gayoom was captured and he was perhaps, he was being replaced, one doesn't know what would have happened to him. India was the one who sent our forces and restored him on his request, and also withdrew in time. Unlike many countries, still colonial days, there are not left many of the territories and countries. It's a fact. So same with Nepal, earthquake, we just stepped in, and a huge number of projects are even currently going on with Nepal. Bhutan, of course, yes, Bhutan, the good thing about Bhutan is they have developed a happiness index, and we should also perhaps follow them, because it doesn't matter however small country might be, they have certain good things, we should capture them. Now this is more or less the neighborhood of Afghanistan. We have a tough time, not because of us, but because of their own policies, their own practices. Taliban is in power there. There is no way to deal with them. And yet, being a neighbor, we have to see how best we can deal with them, how best we can find a way to at least start a dialogue. Dialogue is very important, because if dialogue is lost, diplomacy cannot proceed further. And what do we think? We have had recently Prime Minister's speech in the United Nations. India has $5 trillion economies aspirations. India also claims, rightfully, place on the Security Council of the United Nations. We should have been given this long time back, but that battle, that aspiration, still 1/6 of humanity is being ignored completely for such a long period. It is unjust and unfair to India, in my view. But we must say, and Prime Minister rightly has envisaged in his recent speech 3 things. One is we have to address the climate change issue without delay. Terrorism and anything like war-like situation has to be avoided, and world has to learn that war is not the way we can live henceforth. We have to live in peace. This was the vision of the Prime Minister. What I feel, and I will now wind up, knowing that some of you perhaps think that is too much for a day. India, what it has to do, I will tell you now. We have impeccable record in terms of democracy, in terms of dialogue, discussion, our peace-loving efforts. But the world today is facing a crisis, and you all know, we talk about climate change a lot, and it's a reality. We know that war is going on, but it's not only in Palestine versus Israel, it is not only Ukraine and Russia. The war, smaller, bigger wars and stripes are going all over the world. We don't deserve to live in this kind of a world. We can't leave this kind of world to our children. There is also a lacuna in the economic model that currently we are following, which is primarily a Western model we have accepted. It is based on consumerism. It is based on unlimited exploitation of natural resources, and it is based on the principle of one who can grab more can become richer. So as a result, we have poverty and we have inequality. We can't live like this. In India, we can't live with 300 million people having poverty. We have to deal with it on a war footage. Well, I have used the word war footage because that is a crisis. It is not a demographic dividend. It is a demographic deficit. And if we don't deal with it, our demography is not going to reward us. It will punish us. So we have to do something. So I do feel that India must create a new vision of living in 21st century by integrating this thought that I elaborated upon in my last 30-40 minutes, and create a new vision where even alternate economic model has to be proposed. It doesn't matter what growth rate India has, but it does matter if 200 million people or 100 million people are sleeping without food, without water, and without proper nutrition. It does matter. It does matter that a large number of people are, whatever we give them, are still outside the medical services, facilities, and outside the education. That we have to drastically change, address, irrespective of what kind of politics we have to address. Which party comes to power, that is not my and your concern right now. So this is how, and only when we do that, we come to the another dream of India, not only for itself, for the world. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Wish you a wonderful universal family day, one earth, one family, one earth, one future. Jai Hind, Jai Jagat, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you, Dr. Mulleji, for this wonderful eye-opening discourse. I had said very correctly while inviting him to speak that all of us would be receiving golden nuggets of information from him today, which will remain with us for a long, long time. I'm sure we all will agree that this is exactly what we have received. He has brought out the true essence of the Universal Brotherhood Day and given a 360-degree dimension to the entire event by taking us through examples across the ages. For me personally, the takeaway is defining India in one term as a country of 1.3 billion stories. I don't think there could have been a better description of India in the global map than this. Please join me again to give a warm applause. Thank you very much. And last but not the least, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being such an attentive and great audience till now. We have the question and answer session coming up. So due to time paucity, we might not be able to take up all the questions. We have received the chits. So if there are any questions that are left out, I would request you during the networking session, you can raise it directly. I would request Prabhakar Tijari ji to come forward to the podium and take up the Q&A session.
Namaste. There are so many questions and very lengthy questions. So maybe we have only 15 minutes left. So there was one clarification which I would like to tell here. This one Girish Tilak has given one clarification that Bandavaha Shabda is not only for brother. For brother there is a Bhratraha. So Bandhava is for all. So that was the just. So Bandhutva is a right sub. So there is one question: what is the impact of volatile neighbor as the Indian national security? That is one, and I will tell one more. How is India navigating with domestic political change in its neighborhood, countries like Maldives and Bangladesh? So these two questions for Mureji. The impact of volatile neighbors on the Indian national security.
Well, I think any volatility of any kind, for whatever reason, does matter to our security. It has direct impact. As I said, we are one. once we say we have had a joint history, particularly with Pakistan, we have a lot of common things with them. So, and having common border, which is being infiltrated time and again, we have very, very real issues with Pakistan. And if there is a stable polity in that country, we can at least initiate some dialogue. Or maybe if some wisdom dawns upon them, they can initiate a dialogue. Because, as I said, in diplomacy, dialogue, discourse, discussion, we generally don't take decision. But we prolong the decision and unpleasantness by keeping the discussion on. Even that helps to create what we call, the environment around the country. Because what I feel is by doing this, we lose a great opportunity. India loses a great opportunity if it does not have a stable polity in Pakistan. How? The tea that is exported from India to Pakistan goes there via Singapore or Dubai. It costs more to them and it brings less price per unit price value to us. This is just one very simple example on the trade side. Huge amount of smuggling happens because it's always tempting to save the cost when you have close border with a neighbor. So anything, whether it is trade, whether it is man to human relations, so much of prejudice exists in both countries about each other. I get so many requests, being a former diplomat, about visa of Indians to Pakistan, and similarly Pakistan to India. And both places, one has to be little of little help. One is not of any help at all, because people can't have dialogue. So it doesn't fit into the overall universe that we want to create. Friendly neighbors are very important. Maldives, this is a gift of, as I said, democracy. That earlier government was friendly. Prior to that we had an unfriendly government. Prior to that we had a friendly government. But now, and India, I must say, in our own wisdom, we have always had this policy that we respect whosoever is in power and want to build relationship with them. Because we are nobody to tell who the people should choose there, either their dictator or democratic leaders. It is up to them. What we would like to do is our interest, mutual interest also, should be preserved. That should not be compromised at any cost. Today, what is happening in Bangladesh, again, very, very unfortunate thing. Well, you have chosen a party or a people who are, barely represent any democratic norms and practice. Conservative by nature. So this conservatism once sets in, it again will affect our relationship further with Bangladesh. And what is happening there, all of us know minorities are being, there's a lot of atrocities are being committed, in fact, including, desecrating temples and places of worship. This is not something that is good. So anything happens in terms of political volatility in the neighborhood directly impacts us. And not only us, any country all over the world, this will be the same case. How to deal with it is always a challenge. Situation keeps on changing. Like in Maldives, we have now fairly good dialogue. I would say there is understanding of Maldivian position on our side fully, or of our position on that side. But I can definitely say that we have an excellent understanding with Maldives now, and the dialogue will go further. And why is the understanding better now? Maldives, the new president and his team have ultimately realized that they cannot do without India, whether it is security or dal chawal. Both, India is the one who is the net provider. So that is how it goes up.
Thank you. One question has come for CG Singapore. How does Singapore serve as strategic partner for India in the context of Indo-Pacific region? And attached to that is, how does India and Singapore collaborate in areas such as digital economy, fintech, and smart cities?
I think that's too much to answer in a couple of minutes. But Singapore, as a matter of routine for our foreign policy. I mentioned just now, working through ASEAN and with ASEAN, we bring all the major powers together on the same platform. And we just had a series of ASEAN summits and ASEAN Plus summits, including with India, this time in Laos. We've always been a very strong advocate of major powers, including India, playing an active role in our region, because Southeast Asia has always been an arena for contestation among the major powers. And as our distinguished speaker said, we don't want war. Instability is not in the interest of anyone. So we've always worked and we've always encouraged work with India to heighten, to elevate its role in our region. Whether you call it Asia-Pacific, Indo-Pacific, is our whole Asian region. Our former Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong had this analogy. He said, in the context of making Asia prosperous as a whole, we need two wings, India, China. If an aircraft, the wings are the parts of an aircraft that actually provide lift. And without these two wings, we cannot have a prosperous Asia. And I think that remains very relevant. That's why we are very excited that these past few years, and especially in the years ahead, how rapidly India is now growing, and we want we've always played a very strong part in that. We have been India's largest foreign investor for almost a decade now, but it started a long time ago, 3 decades ago or more, when India first opened up. On a bilateral front, we indeed have quite a lot of things going on, specifically fintech, smart city. You may recall 1.5 years ago, India, for the first time, and for us, it was, I think, the second or third country, your UPI was linked up with our equivalent. It's called Pay Now. It's very, for seamless transfer of funds, up to, I believe the limit is 1,000 Singapore dollars a day. And what has really helped is the numerous Indian workers in Singapore to repatriate funds to Singapore, to India, to their families without the middleman. We are working to expand the number of banks, to onboard more banks and to expand this network. Our two central banks work very closely. They have a couple of working groups to continuously explore how to further step up cooperation in the area of fintech. We are very much present in Gift City in Gujarat. There was also about 1.5 years ago, your Prime Minister had launched the link up between NSE and our SGX for the trading of Nifty futures. And that's coming along very well. The volumes are in the billions, and they keep increasing precisely because India is growing so well and everybody wants a slice of it. So just in a nutshell, we've got a lot going on, but I think that I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There were a lot of questions, but we will not be taking those questions. And I'm sure we will get the reply from the experts and forward to you in due course of time. Yeah, we can do the Zoom. But there is a query came from many students. They would like to associate it with Vishwadhyan Kendra. And we are happy to get associated with each of you. You can give your number. Actually, I am also the student of International Relations and Strategic Studies in the university now. So you can contact me and we will get associated with Vishwadhyan Kendra. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all, and I apologize for not being able to take up all the questions because of paucity of time. So as we come to the conclusion of this wonderful event, it is time to express our gratitude to everyone who made it possible. To deliver the official thank you note, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Ravikant Sagarude, Head of Department, Hindu Studies, University of Mumbai. Please join me in welcoming Ravikantji to the stage.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Good evening, respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, faculty member, student, and all those present here. It is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of Vishwa Adhyan Kendra and University of Mumbai for being a part of this inspiring program on universal brotherhood or familyhood, whatever it takes. So first of all, I would like to thank the Honorable Governor, C.P. Radhakrishnan sir, for his message. He could not make to this program, but he sent his message. And then I would like to express our deep gratitude to our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Dhaneshwar Mule, sir, the ex-Foreign Secretary, whose insightful words have truly enriched this event about the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. As an Indian, we all believe in this concept of universal brotherhood. Your thoughts on the essence of unity and brotherhood have provided us all with valuable perspective that resonate deeply in today's world. I also like to thank the both Consul General from Malaysia and Singapore for gracing this occasion and even interacting with the students. I also extend my sincere thanks to our keynote speaker, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravindra Kulkarni sir, for sharing profound wisdom and enlightening us on the global significance of universal brotherhood, the contribution of the University of Mumbai. A special thank to the organizer, Vishwa Adhyan Kendra, the Gyanendra Mishra sir, Amit Chatterjee sir, our own student Tijare sir, Vinod Dubey ji, Sanjay ji, Narendra ji, Dr. Asawari ji, Shri Ratan Sharda ji, Mahesh Deshpande ji. I also thank to Manpreet sir for gracing this occasion. Lastly, to all the participants and attendees and my dear students, especially our NSS student and student from SIRSS, your presence here demonstrate your shared commitment to the ideas of universal brotherhood, and it is through our collective efforts that we can truly make a difference. This is the need of hour where we all should come together and we can give this message to the entire world, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Once again, my deepest thanks to everyone, especially to this Department of Civics and Politics for giving this beautiful hall, Firoz Shah Mehta Bhavan, for this occasion. And at the end, again, knowingly, unknowingly, if I forget to mention the name of anyone, I would like to sincerely thank all of you for gracing this occasion. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra. I think you will declare.
Thank you, Ravikantji. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of this event, we would do the Shanti Mantra, which is a prayer for peace and harmony, followed by the national anthem. I would request Dr. Medha Deshpande once again onto the stage to recite the Shanti Mantra.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षशान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वशान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सा मा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः
Please all rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की
Thank you, Medha ji. Ladies and gentlemen, please, as we reach the end of the event, I would like to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your presence and participation today. Your energy and enthusiasm have truly made this gathering special. With that, we officially conclude today's program. Few nuggets, please. Not everybody will exit immediately. We would like the guests to exit first. But before, we need a photograph, a group photograph with VAK team.
महेश जी
आइए आप भी आइए
अरे कोट पहनो
उसको थोड़ा सा हाथ से
निकालेंगे ना और निकाल देंगे।